I didn't tell you? You're banished from the Cheesecake Factory.
Why?
Well, you have 3 strikes. 1 coming in, 2 sitting down, and 3...
Everyone loved Penny on The Big Bang Theory, but Kaley Cuoco's life today is nothing fans expected. Her unexpected transformation is just the beginning. Behind-the-scenes secrets and surprising personal choices are finally coming to light. What has she really been doing since the show ended? And how did her life take such an unexpected turn? Join us as we unveil rare details about what really happened and where Penny is today. An all-round transformation. From rumored flings with co-star Johnny Galecki to being called out for allegedly disrespecting the American flag at The Big Bang Theory's peak, Kaley Cuoco's career has been anything but ordinary. But now, fans are eager to see how life has treated her since the show ended. And her transformation, both in her career and appearance, is truly striking. After the popular sitcom wrapped in 2019, Kaley took on the DC Universe, voicing the titular character in the animated Harley Quinn series and serving as an executive producer. Her production journey began earlier, in 2017, when she founded her own TV production company, Yes, Norman Productions. Her first major project launched in 2020 with The Flight Attendant, adapted from Chris Bojalian's novel. Kaley starred as Cassie Bowden and served as executive producer throughout the show's 2-season run, earning acclaim for balancing suspense, comedy, and even drama. However, her production ambitions didn't stop there. In 2021, she announced she would star in and executive produce the limited series Doris Day: Her Own Story. Kaley also led and produced films like Meet Cute in 2022 and Role Play in 2024, while since 2023, she has starred opposite Chris Messina in Peacock's comedy thriller based on a true story. Alongside her career, Kaley's personal life has been a journey of highs and lows. After her long-running role alongside Johnny Galecki ended, she became engaged to Josh "Lazy" Resnick, an addiction specialist, in 2011, though the engagement ended 5 months later. Shortly after, she became engaged to professional tennis player Ryan Sweeting. They married in 2013 after just 3 months of dating, but divorced after 21 months. Later, in 2016, Kaley began dating professional equestrian Carl Cook. The couple married at a horse stable near San Diego in June 2018, but separated in September 2021 and finalized their divorce in June 2022. Love, however, found Kaley again. In May 2022, she confirmed her relationship with Ozark actor Tom Pelphrey. By October, the couple announced they were expecting their first child, and in March 2023, their daughter, Matilda Carmine Ritchie, was born, marking a new chapter in Kaley's life as a mother. Beyond the sitcom spotlight, her personal journey sparked as much attention as her professional achievements. Kaley recently confronted rumors and speculation about her appearance head-on, choosing transparency in an industry where cosmetic procedures are often hidden. In the December issue of Women's Health, she openly discussed undergoing plastic surgery, including breast augmentation and rhinoplasty, describing these choices as the best thing she has ever done. She explained that these enhancements helped transform her confidence and self-image, and that public approval wasn't what guided her decisions. Kaley also addressed fillers for a line in her neck that had been present since she was 12. Unlike many celebrities who shy away from discussing cosmetic work, she emphasized that such procedures were not about conforming to external pressures, but about feeling confident in one's own body. "If it makes you feel confident, that's amazing," she recently revealed, framing her choices as a positive reflection of self-acceptance rather than vanity. Breast augmentation at age 18 gave her the proportionate figure she felt best represented her body, while rhinoplasty balanced her facial features. Minor enhancements, such as injections to address the neckline, completed the picture, focusing on natural, refined results. Each decision was deliberate, reinforcing Kaylee's belief that external changes could complement, not replace, self-love. Public reactions ranged from surprise to admiration. Fans and media outlets noted her willingness to discuss procedures openly, a contrast to the usual secrecy surrounding television stars, especially those from a show as iconic as The Big Bang Theory. Kaylee credited her enhancements with shaping both her career and personal life. The breast implants helped establish her as the sitcom bombshell Penny, while rhinoplasty refined her look for on-screen comfort. Addressing the neckline boosted her confidence in high-visibility roles, enabling her to perform without self-consciousness. Above all, she emphasized that these choices worked in tandem with loving her inner self, demonstrating that personal empowerment and physical appearance could coexist. Everyone knows Penny was a total bombshell, but there's more to her character than fans realized. Behind the laughs and charm, some surprising secrets have been hiding all along. What are the details about Penny on The Big Bang Theory that nobody saw coming? Big Bang's most misunderstood character. She was never a good actress. At the beginning, nobody expected the girl across the hall to become the spark that changed everything. But Penny's story had always been more complicated than fans realized. Behind the sarcasm, her character carried a tension that shaped every moment she spent on The Big Bang Theory. And as the seasons unfolded, the signs that once seemed harmless later revealed just how much she struggled beneath the surface. Penny began as the bright, outgoing Nebraska girl who walked into 4A with messy boxes, a broken relationship, and a dream of becoming an actress. She worked as a waitress at the Cheesecake Factory while chasing roles and often hid her disappointments behind humor. Her friendliness stood in sharp contrast to the rigid world of Leonard and Sheldon Yett. Her chaotic streak, her impulsiveness, late rent, and piles of unpaid bills hinted at deeper instability that fans initially ignored. She was cheerful, but her life was scattered. She racked up debt, allowed old boyfriends to take advantage of her, and hid financial stress with quick jokes. Her acting career grew tougher. Failed auditions, background roles, and the crushing realization that she might not make it. Even so, she kept the dream alive, clinging to bit parts and hoping for a breakthrough until she gave up. For years, The Big Bang Theory kept fans guessing about one puzzling mystery: why Penny, who loved acting more than anything, suddenly walked away from her dream. Viewers watched her arrive in Los Angeles with bright hopes and bold confidence, ready to become a famous actress. But over time, something quietly shifted, something the show revealed piece by piece, while no one noticed the bigger picture. And by the end of Season 12, the truth behind Penny's decision became one of the series' most surprising turns. From the beginning, Penny had thrown herself into audition after audition without a second thought. She didn't want to return to Nebraska looking like a failure. Not after telling everyone back home that she was chasing stardom, with Leonard cheering her on and Sheldon offering his own strange brand of support. She kept trying for roles while making ends meet at the Cheesecake Factory. But reality hit harder than she expected. By the time the show reached its final season, Penny had only landed a small handful of paying roles: a hemorrhoid commercial, a deleted scene in NCIS, and a bizarre low-budget horror movie where she transformed into a murderous gorilla in Serial Apist. None of these projects matched the glamorous career she envisioned. And as she grew older, the fewer auditions she received. Slowly, Penny began to see what she had avoided admitting for years. The turning point arrived in Season 7, Episode 12, The Occupation Recalibration. Penny quit her waitress job in a dramatic move, determined to devote herself fully to acting. But that brave leap lasted only moments. She was fired from her only acting gig almost immediately, and the shock forced her to face a painful truth she could no longer ignore. She simply wasn't a good actress. The dream she had wrapped her identity around was slipping away. By the start of Season 8, fans were greeted with a very different Penny. Shorter hair, sharper wardrobe, and a new seriousness. She had quit acting entirely, not because she wanted to, but because she had finally accepted that the career she'd chased for years wasn't chasing her back. With no job and barely any money, she found herself at a crossroads she never expected to reach. That was when Bernadette stepped in. Penny agreed to interview at ZenGen, a pharmaceutical company. She was terrified. She knew nothing about medicine or sales. Her only experience was serving tables and trying to smile through disappointment. During the interview, everything went wrong. She stumbled and made a poor impression. It seemed certain she had lost the job before she even finished speaking. But then the twist arrived, an unexpected one that changed her life. When Penny casually mentioned she was afraid of Bernadette, her interviewer lit up with relief. That tiny comment completely shifted his perception of her. In a shocking turn, he hired her on the spot. Not because she nailed the interview, but because he understood exactly what it meant to work under Bernadette's fierce standards. It became one of the most grounded, relatable arcs in the entire show. Penny doubted herself, feared she wasn't good enough, and questioned whether she belonged in a new field. Yet she didn't run from the challenge. She stayed and pushed herself. In time, Penny became one of ZenGen's top salespeople, proving she was far better suited for pharmaceutical sales than she ever had been for acting. Most fans don't realize this, but Penny almost wasn't the character we know, and the reason is completely unexpected. The pilot was such a disaster that even the creator admitted it. So how do you turn a total mess into the iconic character everyone loves? The untold story behind the failed pilot that almost killed the show. In the world of television, few unaired pilots have become as legendary as the original Big Bang Theory episode that CBS rejected. Series creator Chuck Lorre once described that early version as just a mess, mainly because of the script and the casting, especially the first actress who played Penny. Back then, the character wasn't even named Penny. She was called Katie, and according to CBS executives, she simply didn't work. Former CBS Entertainment chairwoman Nina Tassler revealed to Emmy Magazine that the pilot had moments that clicked and others that completely fell apart. She explained that the biggest problem was the original Katie actress, Amanda Walsh. In her words, parts of the script didn't work, and we had to recast an actress. However, Tassler still saw potential in Lorre's concept, praising the strong chemistry between Johnny Galecki and Jim Parsons. That spark convinced her to ask Lorre to try again. CBS understood that buried beneath the flaws was something special. The original pilot eventually leaked online, and anyone who has watched it can understand why it was scrapped. The characters, Leonard, Sheldon, and the original Katie, felt awkward, harsh, and unlikable. Katie, in particular, was written as a much edgier and less sympathetic character than the Penny fans eventually came to love. The network knew the show needed significant changes. Lorre agreed with Tassler's feedback and went back to the drawing board. He rewrote the female lead and recast the role. Bringing in Kaley Cuoco, as Penny, Tassler said that Laura immediately acknowledged the problem and promised to fix it. When Kaley joined the cast, everything suddenly clicked. She became the secret sauce, the piece that made the whole story come alive. The revamped pilot didn't just work, it made history. The Big Bang Theory quickly became one of the highest-rated sitcoms on television, dominating the top 10 for 8 straight seasons Jim Parsons won multiple Emmys, and the show ran for 12 seasons before ending in 2019 after Parsons decided to move on. But what if the role of Penny had gone to someone else entirely? Amanda Walsh opened up about the experience in The Big Bang Theory, the definitive, inside story of the epic hit series. She recalled the moment she learned both Sons and Daughters and the original Big Bang Theory pilot wouldn't be moving forward. You're waiting to find out, to get that phone call if the show gets picked up. And when that phone call came in, it was a crazy 24 hours, because I found out Sons and Daughters was not getting picked up. And then I found out that Big Bang Theory wasn't getting picked up either, but it was going to be retooled, except with a new character, without me. Amanda admitted it was a hard call for any actor to take, but praised the way Laurie and Brady handled it. She later found reassurance when they hired her for another pilot, The Mastersons of Manhattan, alongside Molly Shannon and Natasha Richardson, which she said validated that being cut wasn't a reflection of her talent. Over the years, Walsh continued to work steadily on shows like Castle, 2.5 Men, and most recently, Lessons in Chemistry with Brie Larson. Both Prady and Laurie have said that Walsh performed Katie exactly as written, but the character itself didn't fit with the dynamic they envisioned. Katie was more worldly and abrasive, which clashed with Sheldon and Leonard's empathetic personalities. CBS needed a lead who could connect with viewers and act as a warm, relatable counterbalance to the scientist's quirks that led to the creation of Penny, whose understanding and kind-hearted nature became the show's secret sauce. The pilot recasting didn't just involve Walsh. Another original character, Gilda, played by Iris Barr, was also cut. She was supposed to be a fellow female scientist in the ensemble, but was replaced by Simon Helberg's Howard and Kunal Nayyar's Raj, completing the cast that fans now know and love. Amanda looks back on the experience with grace, understanding that sometimes a character, no matter how well played, simply isn't the right fit. Penny's role ultimately reshaped the show, helping The Big Bang Theory become a cultural phenomenon that ran for 12 seasons, with awards, accolades, and a fan base that has only grown over time. Penny definitely stole the spotlight, but is she more than just the charming neighbor? Could she actually be the secret hero of The Big Bang Theory? The secret force that changed The Big Bang Theory. While Sheldon Cooper is often hailed as the breakout star of The Big Bang Theory, a closer look at the series' early seasons reveals that another character shaped the show's story and its entire world. By the time the series finale aired, Sheldon had become the central figure, with his childhood chronicled in the spin-off Young Sheldon. But in the pilot, Sheldon was not the star at all. He was a supporting character, mainly serving as comic relief to Johnny Galecki's Leonard. Much like Barney Stinson in How I Met Your Mother, who became the show's standout despite Ted being the original focal point, Sheldon gradually became the most memorable and famous character. Yet, when it came to altering the dynamics of the core cast, no character had more influence than Kaley Cuoco's Penny. From the moment she moved in across the hall from Sheldon and Leonard in the first episode, Penny became the inciting force behind nearly every major event of the series. Without her, Leonard and Sheldon likely would have remained in their isolated routines with Howard and Raj, stuck in their quirky but stagnant lives and unlucky in love. Penny's influence reshaped the men of the series. In Season 2, Episode 12, The Killer Robot Instability, she confronted Howard over his toxic behavior toward women. This bold move forced him to change, eventually leading him into a committed relationship with Bernadette. Raj, initially unable to speak to women, gradually overcame his selective mutism, thanks to repeated interactions with Penny. Even Sheldon eventually found love, showing that her presence triggered a domino effect of character growth. Leonard, meanwhile, blossomed romantically through his long-running relationship with the girl next door. By season 4, Penny had already catalyzed the transformation of the main cast. She created a ripple effect. Howard became a loving husband and father. Raj entered multiple romantic relationships, and Sheldon, Leonard, and the group as a whole developed in ways the pilot never anticipated. Without Penny, there would be no Bernadette, no Amy, and arguably no show as fans came to know it. The show's initial premise, centered on nerds' misadventures and failed attempts at romance, shifted dramatically under her influence. By only a third of the way through the series, it had evolved into a story about 3 couples, with Raj finally joining the romantic narrative. Even Howard, once an unpleasant sleaze, was transformed into a complex, caring character, thanks to the interactions and perspective Penny brought to the group. While Sheldon might be the most beloved and arguably the most complex character over the series' 12 seasons, the truth is clear. The major emotional arcs, romantic developments, and growth of the principal characters were all set in motion by Penny. She was the catalyst, the pivot, and the quiet force that made the story richer, funnier, and more relatable. While Sheldon Cooper often received the spotlight as the show's breakout star, it was Penny who transformed the series from a niche sitcom about socially awkward scientists into a mainstream hit beloved by millions. Penny's influence went far beyond simple matchmaking. She humanized the gang, helping them grow into more sociable, sympathetic characters. Adding more characters also enriched the show, but Penny was the key. Bernadette, Amy, and others may have added layers, but the foundation of character growth rested on her guidance. Without her, the men might have remained trapped in their own worlds, making The Big Bang Theory little more than a gimmick about quirky scientists. Penny's combination of patience, toughness, and warmth allowed the writers to explore relationships, comedy, and emotional arcs, keeping viewers engaged for 12 seasons. Ultimately, while Sheldon's quirks and Parsons' performance often stole the spotlight, the true secret to the series' success was the character who quietly held it all together. Penny transformed the nerds, drove the story, and proved that sometimes the biggest changes in a show come from the least expected places. Without her, The Big Bang Theory would have been fun, but it wouldn't have been the cultural phenomenon it became. Now, let's talk about Penny's legendary haircut. How did a single haircut really change the dynamic of a decade-long sitcom? The haircut that shook The Big Bang Theory. Ahead of season 8, she chopped her long blonde hair into a short pixie cut, partly to prepare for her role in an independent film. She intended the change to be practical, thinking it would reduce the time spent in the hair and makeup chair. Instead, it became a massive challenge. The short style required far more effort to maintain, creating unexpected work for both Kaylee and the show's styling team. The decision also shocked the cast and crew. The cut was made without warning, leaving producers and co-stars scrambling to adjust to the sudden transformation. What was meant to be a small change disrupted the usual routine and created tension behind the scenes. Yet the choice revealed a daring, independent side of Kaylee, willing to shake up a well-established set and take risks for both personal and professional reasons. This moment came during a period of other shifts in her life. Kaylee had previously been involved with her co-star, and navigating a high-profile on-set romance added complexity to her professional environment. Beyond the personal, the haircut became a defining moment for her character, signaling a bold change and bringing fresh energy to a show that had been on air for 7 seasons. The haircut was not just a style change. It altered how the character was perceived by the audience and how the cast interacted with one another. It highlighted Kaylee's ability to make bold, independent choices and reinforced her creative presence on the show. The ripple effect went beyond aesthetics, shaping scenes, interactions, and even the tone of certain storylines. Years later, Kaylee moved into new phases of her life. She embraced motherhood, confirmed a pregnancy with her first child, and navigated both personal and professional evolution with the same decisiveness she displayed on set. The Pixie Cut remains one of the most memorable moments of her Big Bang Theory career, a decision that sparked discussion among fans and made a lasting impression on the show's production. However, she wasn't the only one on the show who ever regretted a decision. Who else was on the regret boat with Carly at the time? Mark Hamill. Mark Hamill's journey began unexpectedly after Howard Wolowitz discovered Hamill's lost dog, aptly named Bark Hamill. In return for Howard's help, Hamill offered a favor that Howard gleefully cashed in to have Hamill officiate the long-awaited wedding of Sheldon Cooper and Amy Farrah Fowler. Initially, Hamill knew little about the show. He had only caught glimpses of episodes while filming The Last Jedi in England, watching them sporadically during treadmill workouts. Over time, he gradually immersed himself in the series, catching up on dozens of episodes to better prepare for his appearance. The process took months, and even then, he wished he had explored the show more before stepping onto the set. Despite being unfamiliar at first, Hamill quickly came to appreciate the show's depth. He recognized the clever pop culture references, the comic book and sci-fi fandom woven into the characters, and the show's playful, subversive humor. Episodes satirizing the Star Wars prequels and cleverly timed viewing marathons revealed the writer's sharp wit, details Hamill hadn't fully realized until he delved deeper. By the time he finished catching up, he had become a completist, watching every episode and developing a deep affection for the series. Hamill's guest appearance became an unforgettable moment. The interaction began with humor, as Howard peppered him with questions about Star Wars, many of which Hamill couldn't answer. The segment quickly escalated to one of the show's most memorable events, officiating Sheldon and Amy's wedding. What might have been a simple cameo turned into an emotionally charged scene. Hamill was visibly moved by the vows, bringing genuine tears to the episode and creating a moment that blended humor, heart, and cultural significance. The wedding scene stood out not only for Hamill's presence, but for how seamlessly he fit into the ensemble cast. Despite limited prior interaction, his only regret was not joining sooner. Aside from Kaylee's impulsive haircut, many fans don't know she nearly got let go from the show after a string of emotional outbursts. But what pushed her to those breaking points, and how close did she actually come to losing her role? Penny almost lost. On screen, The Big Bang Theory appeared flawless. The cast laughed together, conflicts resolved neatly by the credits, and the sitcom seemed like a model of harmony. Behind the cameras, however, the reality was far from perfect. Tensions simmered, particularly between Kaley Cuoco, who played Penny, and her co-star, Mayim Bialik. 2016 was a rough year for Kaley. She was going through a painful divorce from her first husband, Ryan Sweeting, and the strain showed on set. Reports described her as frequently frustrated, with outbursts over everything from makeup and wardrobe to catering. The mood grew tense, and some co-stars reportedly began avoiding interactions to prevent conflicts. The strain went deeper than personal disagreements. Allegedly, Kaley's behavior grew so concerning that producers questioned whether she could continue on the series. At one point, there were serious discussions about potentially writing Penny out of the show entirely. The idea that the beloved character could disappear shocked fans, revealing just how close the series came to losing one of its central figures. Mayim Bialik reportedly tried to maintain distance during this period, seeking to avoid further escalation while Kaley worked through her personal struggles. Despite being one of television's highest-paid actresses at the time, even Kaley wasn't untouchable. The behind-the-scenes tension highlighted the fragility of on-set relationships and how personal difficulties could ripple into professional dynamics. But as that tension faded and the cast moved on, fans began to wonder what happened next for each star once the cameras stopped rolling. And among all of them, whose journey took the most surprising turn? Stars of TBBT and where they are today. Beginning with Jim Parsons, who brought Sheldon Cooper to life with strange habits that fans never got tired of watching, his performance didn't just make people laugh, it won him 4 Emmy Awards and a Golden Globe. The role turned him into one of the most awarded sitcom actors of his time. But after 12 seasons, Parsons felt the weight of time and routine. As much as the world loved Sheldon, Parsons knew he was ready to move on. What many didn't realize was that even at the height of the show's success, Parsons was already exploring new paths. He appeared in films like The Big Year, The Muppets, Hidden Figures, and Extremely Wicked, shockingly evil and vile, surprising fans with roles far from Sheldon's world. Each project hinted that Parsons was preparing for life beyond the show long before the finale aired. Yet he didn't entirely walk away from the Big Bang universe. He stepped behind the scenes as executive producer and narrator of Young Sheldon. That show became a hit in its own right, running for 7 seasons before ending in May 2024. Meanwhile, Parsons kept building his producing career with projects like the Emmy-nominated special and the sitcom Call Me Kat, which reunited him with Mayim Bialik. And his acting talents continued to shine, earning him another Emmy nomination for Netflix's Hollywood in 2020. Parsons also returned to the stage, a place he has loved for decades. He led the award-winning 2018 Broadway revival of The Boys in the Band, which was later adapted into a 2020 Netflix film. In 2024, he performed in Mother Play and Our Town, proving his career was just as strong off-screen as it once was on-screen. Away from the cameras, Parsons kept his personal life honest and steady. In a 2012 New York Times profile, he quietly came out as gay and spoke lovingly about his longtime partner, art director Todd Spiewak. After 14 years together, the couple married in 2017, continuing their life with the same peaceful loyalty that fans admired from afar. And just as Parsons' life settled into a new rhythm, another familiar face from the show took a different path and underwent quiet transformations. Johnny Galecki, who played Leonard Hofstadter, Sheldon's patient roommate and Penny's devoted partner, also left a powerful mark on the series. His performance earned him an Emmy nomination in 2011 and multiple Screen Actors Guild nominations alongside the rest of the cast. But unlike Parsons, Galecki's journey after the show became more private. During his time on The Big Bang Theory, Galecki was everywhere, appearing on Entourage and starring in big films like Hancock and In Time. Then came a nostalgic twist. The 2018 Roseanne reboot brought him back to his old character, David Healy. For Galecki, it was an emotional return to a role he first played in 1992. But after that, he slowly stepped out of the spotlight. Fans also remember the buzz surrounding his real-life relationship with Kaley Cuoco. They dated from 2008 to 2009, right as Leonard and Penny's TV romance was heating up. Even after breaking up, they stayed close friends and were often seen attending award shows together as each other's safe +1. Galecki later welcomed a son, Avery, with Elena Meyer in 2019 before they split in 2020. Then, in a twist no one expected, he revealed in Architectural Digest's March 2024 issue that he had secretly married a woman named Morgan, and the two had welcomed a daughter, Una Evelena. And with everything that unfolded, whose post-Big Bang Theory journey surprises you the most? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more. Also, click the next video showing on your screen. You will enjoy it.